Hello students, this is Tarannum Jahan and I'm here with you all people in order to start the new chapter from civics. So let's begin the new chapter. So this is the chapter 4 for your civics. It is the chapter 4 for both the books, that it be your education and your NCERT, and the chapter name is Understanding the Law. So let's begin with your fourth chapter from the civics. So under this chapter, we are going to cover the topics like, do laws apply to all without any discrimination? How do a new law comes to in action? How we implement a new law? How from where the parliament gets an idea of implementing the new law? How do they get to know that the people needs such implementation? What do you mean by the unpopular and controversial law? And what should we as a citizen do under such circumstances when an unpopular and controversial law is implemented by the parliament? What does the rule of law means? Control as per the law means, or governing as per the law means? All these things we are going to discuss under this chapter. Now, the first question that I raised when we were discussing about the topics, that is, do law apply to all without any discrimination? Are we all equal in the eyes of law? Yes, we all are equal before the law. The law cannot discriminate anyone on the basis of religion, caste, and gender. If he or she is rich, poor, minister, president, she is equal before the law. You cannot discriminate on the basis of the pocket too. Whether they are minister, whether they are president, whether they are poor, whoever they are, the law is same for everyone. Now, reasons for including the law of equality. Now, what was the reason why we have included the law of equality in our constitution? Because of the Sedition Act. Now, what is this Sedition Act of 1870? Why these Indian nationalists forced the Britishers to include the equality and the ideas of justice into set of rules? Because during that period, what is Sedition Act of 1870? During that period, the British government, they used to arrest any of the person who have been seen protesting or criticizing the British authority without having any fair trial in the court. So under these act, the people were arrested without telling any reason, and they were imprisoned by these Britishers just because they were criticizing the Britishers, because they have raised their voice against the Britishers, that how they are dominating them, just for that purpose. So that is the reason why we Indians asked that the right to equality, they included the equality and the ideas of justice into the set of rules. So in the same manner, the today, even during that period in 1947, we thought that this law should be implemented. Now by 2020, there are many other views regarding the youth, that this should be implemented, that should be implemented. If this law will be come into the action, then definitely there will be a development. So there are many changes because the youth is changing, their mentality is changing, and according to that, the laws have been also changing. So there are many more implementation of the laws, and in the coming years even there will be more implementation of the laws as per the youth's mentality has been changing. They wanted more, something more from the constitution. So now the question raised, how do the people come to think and they propose that the new law is necessary? How do they come to know about this? So let's see that how the people get an idea of implementing a new law, and how they ask the government to implement the new law. Now, how the people and the government come to know that what the people wanted. So we have a very good idea of like right to express your views. That is the fundamental right that has been given to us by the constitution, because with the help of that right to expression, we express our feelings regarding what we wanted to our government. So when the problems are faced by the people, they raise the need for a particular law through media like TV channels, newspapers, everywhere, because we have a right to express our feelings. With that, the people, the government, the ruling government comes to know that what exactly the citizen wanted. That is the reason why whenever the new law has been framed, the citizen plays a very crucial role in framing a new law. So we the citizen, with the help of the right to express our feelings, we make the ruling government to know that what we exactly wanted, what we wanted to implement, why we want to implement that law, how it is going to help us, each and everything through just the right of expression we let the government know that what we wanted. Now, what is the procedure for coming of a new law? We have seen this in the chapter, that is in the parliamentary form of government, where we have seen that the three sittings have been done, two houses they sit, they have a introduction of the bill, then they have a discussion on that, then it will be passed on to the next house for the implementation. Again, the three sittings will be done. The first reading, second reading, and the third reading will be done. After the as this, if both the houses are happy with that bill, they will again forward it to the president, and the president, if he is happy with the bill, he'll definitely give a signature. If he's not happy, he'll just go and ask them to check or recheck the bill which have been sent. Again the house will recheck and send with certain changes if they wanted. If they don't want any change, they again send back the bill to the president, and the president gives an assent on that bill, and that bill becomes a law. So this is what the procedure we have seen. In short, I have said that. Otherwise, it's a very lengthiest procedure of a sitting questionnaire and so on. So this is just a uh, outline of how the laws are being framed, because this has been explained to you in a very clear manner in your parliamentary form of government. You can go through that what is the procedure of coming a new law. The same procedure of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha is discussed over here, that how it has been introduced, the new bill is introduced, how the discussion has been done, then the voting system will be there in both the houses, and after the voting system, the same procedure will be followed both in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. After following the same procedure, they'll send the bill to the president, and the president will give a approval, and after the approval, it will be signed by the president and becomes a law. It is the same thing. Now, what is unpopular and controversial law? See, every now and then the parliament sits for a session and makes a small law or a big law. There are many laws that have been made in the parliament which are not known to us. Later on, we'll get to know that this new law has been passed, these are the certain new laws that has been made by the parliament. That is known as then unpopular law. It is good for us, but we may not be knowing it that the parliament has formed such kind of a law. So that is an unpopular law. But what is controversial law? Controversial laws are the some of these laws may be unacceptable to the people, because they could feel that these laws are unfair or harmful to them, or so they might criticize this law. And when large number of people start criticizing this law on the newspapers, on the media, then definitely it becomes a controversial law. So these laws are unfavorable to the certain group of a people, because of which they criticize it. So that is called as a controversial law. So by all the discussions that how the law has been made, what is unpopular law, what is controversial law, we come to a conclusion that yes, the citizen plays a very important role in electing their representative, because they also play a crucial role in helping the parliament to in forming a new laws through their expressions. So the citizens of a democratic country like India must be aware of their rights. So now let's see the new acts that have been passed by the government in 2009. So new implementation, how the government got to know that what exactly we wanted. So let's see that according to that, what all were the laws which were passed by the government. So the first is RET, that is nothing but right to education. This act was passed in 2009. On 27th August 2009, the Government of India adopted the new right, that is the right to education. According to this right, each and every person of Indian citizen who is having an age of 6 to 14 years has a right to free and compulsory education. This law came into the force for the entire country, and all the kids have a right to get educated, and the government is providing it for a free, and it is compulsory, so that they can say that padhega India, so badhega India. So that is the reason why they said that right to education has to be implemented, so that each and every youth of our country, the coming youth, should be educated, well educated, in order to stand on their own legs. So it states that the student up to the standard 8 should not be made to appear for any board examination. That means free and compulsory education in the government school. After that, he'll be writing the board exam. That is your 10th standard. Till 8th, there is no comprehension of that having a board examination. No pressure of the board examination. Just gain knowledge. Then from the year 2010 to 2011, a scheme for continuous and comprehensive evaluation has to be implemented from standard 1 to 8. Now again they said that because the people were not interested, again they said that in 2010 and 11 that the scheme has been adopted. Many midday meal, many of the schemes were adopted by the government so that the people should come and have an education over there. Government is inviting the people, but the people are not interested in order to make the child educated, because they want their child to indulge in their businesses, their family business, like many of the poor children. This is mainly done for poor children, but these poor children, they help their parents in the fields. So why they'll send them to the school instead of they'll help them in the field? So there are many reasons why the people were not sending the students for the these children for the studies, though the education is for the free purpose. So again in 2010 and 11 they again informed them that now it is a continuous comprehensive one, that we are providing you an education from first to eighth standard, that is for a free and compulsory. So government is taking an steps, but even we people should get aware of it, that why the people government is taking such step. It is for a good purpose. Now let's see what steps have been taken by the government in order to implement the right to education. How they have made this law implemented in a very uniform way so that the people should get attracted towards this law. So here, according to this act, Right to Education Act of 2009, the government said that every child between the age of 6 to 14 years should have a right for a free and compulsory education, and no child should be liable to pay any kind of fee, charges or expenses for studying, because the government was providing them with the books, pencils, uniform free of cost, with the midday meals too. So the child, even they said that if any of the child who has not been admitted in the school, even if she has attained the or he has attained the age of 6 years, then if they are coming for an admission, then according to their appropriate age, the class will be allotted to them. That doesn't mean that if she is 6 years old, they'll be giving her or him the first class. According to the age, the appropriate class will be allotted to that person. So the appropriate government, this means that now they have said that now everything has been said, free education, no expenses, nothing will be taken from you, and the appropriate class will be given to you. Now the government said that because the schools mostly they have to be set up in the rural areas, and you know that we follow the three tier system, that is we are having the central government, state government and the local government. Now it is the responsibility of the local government. Local government is nothing but who looks after the rural areas, and usually we want these schools to be implemented, mostly to be made in the rural areas, because the rural people are mostly not having this kind of a education. They are not known about the education, they don't know mostly about the schools. So they said that after this act has been implemented, this act has been implemented in 2009. After this act will be implemented, the 3 years time will be given to the local authority, that is a local government, and it is their responsibility to prepare the schools in the local area which is appropriate to to the people in order to reach those schools. It should not be so far away that they cannot walk a distance and go to the school. So now it is the local authorities responsibility in order to open the schools in their local areas so that the people can come through walk. Now, the government even said that government is nothing but the parliament. That the parliament, while enacting this law, they even said that both the central and the state government is responsible towards in order to see that the local government is doing the work properly. So it is a concurrent responsibility. Concurrent in the way, in concurrent list, who are responsible? Both the state and the central are responsible in order to look after the local government, that all these responsibility which has been given to the local government in order to make the schools are being looked after this local government properly or not. And if provided, the providing funds should also be carried to this local government, because they are not having that much funds. So it is a responsibility of the state and central in order to provide them with the proper funds so that they can construct a school over there. And the government even ordered the private schools. They said that it is not necessary that these schools which have been made in the local areas, only those schools' responsibilities are there in order to provide the education to the poor people. They said that even the private school should take up at least 25% of the class strength to the weaker section. Weaker section is nothing but the SC and ST. At least 25% of the people should be admitted, and you cannot stop them in taking the admission in your school. And whatever the payment will be there, the government will fund the schools as per if you are giving them the admission in the school. So many of the people, those who are SC and ST, who are residing in the not in the local areas but in the very in well-known cities, but and they can take up the admissions in the private schools. Yeah, for them the orders have been given that 25% of the class strength should be of the weaker section, and the government will provide the fund to them in order for the fees, whatever expenses you have to alter on the student who has been appointed, who has been admitted in your school as a weaker section. The government fund will be provided to the school on behalf of that student. So these were the steps which were taken by the government in order to implement this law. Now the government was very strict towards the implementation, and he even said that if anyone violate this law, if anyone is not following this law, because now this law has been made and this is your directive principle of state policy under the article of 45, and if anyone is not following this law, they are not sent to jail. But the thing is that the national commission for the protection of the child rights safeguard, this is the commission which is working for the child rights. They said that the State Commission for the Protection of the Child Rights and the Right to Education Protection Authority, these are the two authorities which are responsible in order to look after for the education of the child. If anyone is having any complaint regarding this right, because I said that many of the groups, they may say that it is like a controversial law, because they may say that why we should send our children, as you have said that it is compulsory, why we should send our children. There are many people, they may come that why it is compulsory, why you have made a compulsory, it is our wish, we want our children to be educated or not. So if anyone is having such kind of any complaint regarding this law, that person should write the complaint in the return form and submit it to these authorities. Who are these authorities? The State Commission for Protection of the Child Right and the Right to Education Protection Authority. These are the two authorities where if any person is having any problem regarding this law, write it in the return form and tell that what problem actually you are having regarding this law and submit it to this authority. Now, the next important act which was implemented by the parliament or by the government was the right to information. By this, the right to information was given to the public here. We have a right to have all the information regarding what exactly the government is doing, what are the sessions are happening, what kind of an act has been passing, and even the sessions we can see it live, how the sittings have been done, how the introduction of the bill has been done, how the discussions have been done, whether our questions have been asked or not. Each and everything has been informed to us through the media, through the newspaper. So we have that right to have an information. So we are giving a right for the public to know what exactly is happening, plus we are giving the media and the newspaper in order to print whatever they wanted, what exactly is happening in the government, so that even the local public should know what is happening in the world. So we are very familiar with what is happening in our states, adjacent states, neighboring countries through this right to have an information, and no one can take this right to information. Even this has been added in our directive principles of state policy, where no one can deny to have a right to have an information. Now, how this RTI helps the public? What are its major objective? It creates a greater transparency in functioning of the public authorities. How it creates a transparency, now public will able to know each and everything what is happening through the media and the newspaper. This improves the accountability performance of the government too, because now the people get to know that how the government is working. And as per the near next sense, they will definitely, if the government is working properly, they'll definitely vote for the next 5 years the same person. If they get to know that the government is not working properly, how they are getting to know it? Through the newspapers and the media. And for the next 5 years, they'll definitely select the new person. So here, the accountability of the government has increased just because of the right to information. The promotion of partnership between the citizen and the government in decision making process. So whenever the decision has been made in the parliament, now each and everything is known to the people. What kind of a decision has been made in the parliament, the sessions have been shown to the people. So even the people, they even promote the partnership between, if any idea they want to give, they can give it through the newspaper and the media, and according to that the parliament will have a discussion and the sessions. So here they are playing a key role as a partnership. When any of the law has been made, they will definitely, the public is using the right to information, plus this media, they are using the media in order to communicate with the government what exactly they wanted. After looking at the session, they'll communicate with the government with the media, and with that they are having a transparency and they are playing a partnership role in making a law. Even there, this will reduce the corruption, because many times in the government department, if any of one is taking a corruption, you can see now the videos through the information technology. This is with the this right to have an information technology, we are able to know that who is taking a corruption, because now you slowly and steadily you are making the videos, you are just posting them on the facebooks and the twitters, and people are coming to know that who are all taking the corruptions. So here this right to information has really played a very important role in order in the reduction of the corruption, accountability of the government, and we playing as a partnership role while framing a law. We know all the sessions of the parliament now, what introduction, discussion, question are, everything we are able to know through media and the newspaper. So this information technology is playing a very important role, and then and there it takes a legal process. Now it is not at all taking any time. It is like suo moto in the government department. It is just a disclosure of the information, just a quick action, and it will take the quick process. So here we use a term called a suo moto, which means that it starts the legal process by itself. The moment we get to know everything, we know that now in the next step what we have to do. So this right to information is playing a very important role in controlling the citizens too, in controlling the government too, accessibility and reduction of corruption too. Now let's see the implication of the law, how the law was implemented in order to help what kind of a people. See, the free education system is more and more spread by the government in the various areas, like where the people are living below the poverty line, especially in the rural areas. Even in the, as we have seen the many of the chapters, that the poverty line people, they reside in the urban areas too. So the government has played a very important role in providing this free education. They have even ordered the private schools in order to give the admission at least to the 25% of the people from the weaker section. But the poverty plays a very important role over here. The poverty is one of the main hindrance for a lot of parents in both the cities, that is the village and the urban areas, in order to send their children to the school. So because of which the government said that now we are providing the free and fair education to each and everyone. No expenses will be taken up. No charges will be taken in order to provide the education to your children. So in many areas, more and more students are coming to the schools for study. So, however, government has to reach more rural areas to bring more students to the school, and government is making certain changes every year. They bring new schemes in order to attract the people, to send the children to the school. So now what are these various schemes which have been implemented by the government in order to attract the people for this new law that has been implemented in 2009? So the various schemes, there is a provision made by the government for providing universal access, retention, and quality in elementary education. The government always works on providing you the quality, though how the private people are having an education in the same way, even they wanted to improve the quality of the education even in the government schools too. So they have emphasizes on the girls education, mostly more pressure was given on the girls education, because the girls were the more weaker section, because they were not given an education properly. They were just treated as these are the people those who have taken birth in order to just look after the household work, and they were never sent to the schools. So in order to send them to the schools, they have implemented the various schemes like Sarva Siksha Abhiyan. It is a significant step that has been taken up by the government in order to provide the education to the girl's child, that is above the age of 6 to 14 years. The girl child can have a free education over here. There is an establishment of the schools like Navodaya Vidyalaya in each district to provide education to the children. So here still more schemes have been provided by the government in order to improve this right to education, and they wanted the more and more students to come to school and have an educated children in India.